we have a sponsor for today's news, and it's us with Devember, and also a little bit Linode. Okay, it's mostly Linode, but we've got Devember that's kicked off. Linode is sponsoring it. Check out the Devember thread. You can level up your skills. If you find yourself relying on Netlify a little too much, it's time to level up your skills and actually deploy something with Linode that actually makes sense instead of relying on these, just terrible, crutchy third-party services. Oh, I can use S3 with Amazon AWS CLI. Yeah, come on, level up. It's time. Thanks, Linode. On with the news.
And, take your mind off of things.
Definitely take your mind off of things.
The worst to come.
Spend some time alone in a room staring at a blinking cursor to make yourself forget.
And some of Linode's amazing documentation. They're documenting things better than these open source projects document themselves.
Hello, today is November 6th. And we're doing social and nonsense, and hopefully everything is fine now that we know the results of...
Can it ever really be fine, though? I mean, I think anger, no matter what, anger is high right now.
The struggle has caused so many cities to burn.
You shouldn't say that, because the possibility is so real.
Right now, we're recording this on a Friday, the Friday before. So
People might be watching this on the last 10% of their battery huddled around a burning trash can.
A barrel with fire in it.
Yeah, because it's cold and they don't have any homes anymore.
A barrel with fire in it is a high piece of technology.
And if that's true, we're sorry. Anyway, let's talk about some social media. And let's talk about Facebook. Hey, remember Cambridge Analytica? That seems like a lifetime ago, right? Well, it turns out, if you'll recall, Cambridge Analytica was a very bad thing, a very, very bad thing. And people were very upset. And then they gave them a fine, which wasn't a lot of money. So people are still upset about that.
Facebook sued over Cambridge Analytica data scandal. No, not that lawsuit. No, not the other lawsuit. Not the lawsuit from a year ago. This one's only 2 days old.
And they're basically saying that was a slap on the wrist, which is true. And that they should be punished harder, which probably true. And they're going to try to do it themselves. I don't like their chances.
Their chances are not good.
So Facebook, now that we're past the dark time, let's not forget that this whole cycle will repeat itself. We have a few short years of summertime before the winter comes again of political election season. And we will have all these same fights again, including the social media ad policy. So Facebook has said, hey, we're going to be a lot better about these political ads. And if they're at all controversial, we probably just won't even take them. We don't even need the money. So some people said, all right, we'll see if that's true. And Facebook was very angry about that.
Facebook tells academics to stop monitoring its political ads for any rule breaking on privacy grounds. So what happened here is this research program, which was part of a university project, New York University, asked for volunteers and said, hey, do you want to help monitor Facebook for compliance with their advertising rules? Install our browser extension, and when you're on Facebook, we will record the contents of the ad and what you're looking at, like what you're doing with your Facebook profile. Facebook said, no, this is against the terms of our service. You're not allowed to scrape data from Facebook. And when pressed to explain it, they said that you're scraping other people's data. And it's like, no, this is literally just the ads that this person sees. Like, Facebook doesn't understand how privacy works. Like, if you volunteer to give your information to a third party, that's okay. And as far as I know, Joe, random Facebook user, doesn't have access to Joe, other Facebook users' data, especially what ads some other person is seeing, which is what was being studied in this research thing. So you can imagine Facebook was losing its mind, almost deliberately trying to confuse the issue to anybody that would ask them, hey, why are you losing your mind over this?
What if Facebook admitted how bad things really are by making the argument? It's like, oh no, we track so much data that just by knowing what ads we show you could identify you as a human being.
Wow, that is a dark interpretation of what they were saying.
No, that's not what they're saying. But NYU has said, we don't care. Sue us. Come at us, bro. We're going to keep doing it.
Yeah, I don't think that would work out for them in court.
No.
And speaking of Facebook doing really horrible, horrible things, many of you might be early adopters of the Oculus system. In fact, you might have adopted it before Facebook spread its tentacles into it. And we talked about this last week in terms of you have to get a Facebook account. But what if you say, okay, maybe I'll just get a Facebook account and do the initial setup, then I'll delete my account? No, you won't.
Deleting your Facebook account forfeits Oculus VR games that you've already paid for. So previously, it did not require a Facebook account. Now it does. I have altered the deal. Pray I do not alter it any further.
It just looks more evil now. Maybe it's because of what I know about it.
Good job, Facebook.
So yeah, enjoy that Facebook account.
Ugh.
Giving
This
them
is
money.
almost as bad as when YouTube was like, "Oh, you have to put your real name on your account." And it was like, "Ew, no."
That'll stop terrible people from leaving terrible comments. Narrator, it didn't.
And in the world of gaming, Oculus is not the only front that Facebook intends to take its products into. They want to get into regular gaming as well. Well, when I say regular, I mean mobile, which is something that I don't understand. But the kids seem to love it.
Facebook steps into cloud gaming and another feud with Apple. So Facebook has said, our vision for mobile gaming is for people to browse a library, click a button, and immediately start playing, not that they have to download stuff. And Apple has said, look, you can either do games on the web or games that we individually vet and require a download like an app. Those are your options.
They also talked about like being able to click a mobile game ad and just immediately have it, not have to wait at all, which is a advertiser-driven darkness that we don't need.
And Apple was just like, nope, not happening.
Krista, are you still thinking about having children? Because this is the darkness that you're going to have to contend with.
I don't know. I was watching videos about like the expense of it, and in terms of just like nothing else, just giving birth, and it's so absurd in the U.S. that I don't know if we can afford it. It's insane.
Time to move to Europe for a few years.
Krista,
Yeah.
here's the reality. Think about it in these terms. I wish
Or Canada.
all parents should have this thought pounded into their head before they think about having a child. You were taking out an 18-year lease on a Ferrari. And actually, those numbers are probably higher now, right?
Yeah.
That was like 2010 numbers or something like that.
See, I like kids though. I know that you don't, and that's fine. But like,
And there's
I
no
do personally really enjoy children, but like, I just don't know feasibly how do people afford.
You know what, Krista? I would really like a Ferrari.
there's no guarantee that Ferrari is going to take care of you when you're elderly.
Absolutely. That's why I said lease. You don't own it. Facebook, they're catching a lot of flack, as are all the major tech companies, because they are either not censoring the right things or censoring too much of one thing. You're never going to make everybody happy, as we've seen with the comment section. Once again, I'll say thank you for the nice comments last week. It was very appreciated. But Facebook's always trying to figure out, how do we do this? What's the right way to vet things and find out what's good and what isn't? And they think they have the answer.
Facebook's new Oversight Board strives to be seen as independent. Now, if you heard me laughing as I said Facebook's new Oversight Board, that would be because literally everybody is laughing at that. But no, the Oversight Board is saying, okay, we realize this looks silly because Facebook funds us, but we really are independent. Let us show you all the ways. And so they're actually putting a lot of effort into trying to show how the review board is actually legit independent. But as you alluded to, the reality here is that no one is ever going to be happy.
You get a certain number of days that if something you say is blocked, and you want to take that to arbitration with the board, you get a guaranteed, it goes before them in a certain number of days. I think they will be overwhelmed almost immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of like the Supreme Court.
Well, even just think about like the complexities of like the Reuters article that we had last week or on Monday or Tuesday this week, where it was, the whole Islamophobia thing. Because Islamophobia is a very serious thing, and there's definitely a lot of Islamophobia. But the circumstances of that, not so much.
But is reporting someone cutting someone else's head off Islamophobia? Because that is a fact. Someone's head was removed. And guaranteed, no one is happy when you rule either way.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, some people are happy, but an equal number of people are unhappy. So, good luck with that. You think that the board will get the same PTSD counselors as the censorship people who have to go through and look at like people killing animals and stuff?
No, that's a good point. But I think the board can't help but be dysfunctional because at minimally the turnover is going to be so insane because what person would subject themselves to that?
What if here? I can't even hardly vocalize this without. It's just so dark. We live in a future where political parties are working as hard to put somebody on the Facebook board as they are on the Supreme Court.
Wow, that is a dark future. That's probably where we're headed.
What's it? Is it Vanta Black, Krista? The blackest color?
Black, yeah. That is dark. And maybe, by the time that starts happening, the second series of pandemics have come along and people are starving in the streets and they're like, please, can you pass some relief? And it's like, no. We need to get on the Facebook board.
We already have every indication that, like, for something like a Facebook board to be successful, that it is going to eventually have to be regionally specific. Things that are acceptable in Japan are different than things that are acceptable in China, and don't even like Taiwan. And things get real dicey because it's like, okay, do we Taiwan like the Chinese connection, and do we talk about that? And
country picker when making an address form.
Is that a purposeful lead-in? Because it's very...
So, Facebook touts free speech, but in Vietnam it's aiding in censorship because, again, the climate of Vietnam is very different. And so all of the tools that's like, yeah, we need independent review of all this stuff, it's leading to some really dark things in Vietnam.
So there was this guy who's a chemistry teacher, and he had the balls to speak out against some stuff that was going on with the Vietnamese government. And he was blocked from Facebook. And then later they came in to his house with stun grenades and abducted him. But he tried to speak out and say, hey, this government is, it's like they're just totalitarian and they're destroying me for speaking out. Facebook should be a place where I can speak my mind. And Facebook basically just said nothing.
Yeah.
They're like, no, we don't do that. Because Facebook knows, and by the way, in Vietnam, half the population is on Facebook, which is huge. It's a huge market.
Yeah.
What is it here?
Like, not even a third.
It's not that amount.
Really?
Because we have such a lot of people, I mean, not a lot of people, but some people don't even use the internet. Mm-hmm. And then you divide that more by people. Yeah, it's not nearly as much. And so Facebook is this huge powerhouse in Vietnam, and you can spread word by stuff, which is why the government doesn't want people like this. And Facebook's just like,
Why Facebook must submit to governmental control in all of its forms.
But compare that with Apple in China. I mean, it's not unique.
Yeah. In fact, our government is eyeing what other countries have, and they're saying, we need that here, which is,
With the whole, like, backdoor encryption thing, that is absolutely true.
Yeah.
That's sad. Well, Twitch, we learned that Twitch was doing some house cleaning, although it is the RIAA that is forcing their hand because legally there's only so much they can do. And the purge pretty much went through. It's unfortunate, but now we see even worse situations where it's like, okay, copyright, but what if it's my copyright? What if this is my thing? Can't I use my own thing? And the copyright,
the RIAA was like, no.
No, I'm sorry. You don't understand ownership. We own this.
Twitch suspends DragonForce guitarist for playing his own music.
Could they not have found a better picture?
I don't know. It's probably from one of his live streams. So we talked last week about how it's Twitch Mageddon, and the RIAA has come, and Twitch has basically been like, look, you got to delete your stuff, or it's going to be bad. Your channel's probably going to be banned, and it's sort of a worse situation than the YouTube because Twitch just didn't have the tools to respond correctly under the law. It seemed like the RIAA was trying to get Twitch into a position where they would be liable in court so they could be sued. So rather than take the chance, Twitch just deleted everything. And so of course the RIAA has issued takedowns for people like this individual who legit still have the copyright to their stuff that they created. The RIAA, I mean, in some cases the RIAA might own the artist's stuff. In this case they don't, but they issued takedowns anyway.
And he is actually, because he's such a proponent of, freedom of this kind of thing, he has released several of their albums to be available for streaming on Twitch.
Which probably those people also got takedowns.
Probably, yes.
And his
First picture for him in this article as well.
all the pictures, but it seems like he just makes faces when he's. It is a very like high speed, like those guitar solos he does are insane. So people do tend to make funny faces. But
his account is suspended, and there will be no repercussions whatsoever for the RIAA because literally their thumb is on the scale of anything reasonable. Always has been.
there's one of those. You ever see the picture game where it's like, is this a cat or a croissant? Like when they're curled up. There's one where you have to try to guess if the guy in the picture is doing a guitar solo. Like they zoom in right on the face, and you have to guess if he's doing a guitar solo or having an orgasm. It's difficult. I think I understand this. Let me. Let's do the headline first. Let me see if you took the same thing from it as I did.
I tried to find the pictures.
There's no. Yeah, unfortunately,
There is a picture at the bottom of the article. Looks like,
but it's not. It's not the one they're talking about.
Yeah.
Oh, is it not? Okay.
Anyway,
Instagram row over plus size model forces change to nudity policy. So plus size model wanting to put those nudes on Instagram because apparently it's okay if you're thin.
but it's not. They're not nudes. So apparently on Instagram, it's not okay to do like the hand bra where you're just like covering your boobs with your hands.
But you can do the artistic stuff.
But so that's not okay by the policy. But she did it. And it's not okay to block her for doing it because she's not doing a hand bra. She's loving her own body.
Oh, see, I misunderstood.
Maybe I misunderstood.
There's a lot of Instagram pictures where people are very obviously naked, but you can't really see a lot because the photographer's doing something with light and shadow. Like you can see the line on the back, or you can see like knees, but you can't really see anything. They're not what I would call obscene pictures, and you can't see anything that's forbidden. And another version of this that I read made it sound like she had some pictures like that, but you can imagine that the lines were somewhat different than what you expect, and so they were flagged for like nudity. No, go away.
But they pointed out the hand boob one in particular. Were the other ones that got away with it hand boobs?
There were some hand boobs in some of the other Instagram things.
You got some more information here, Krista?
I think I found the photo.
Do we want to show the photo?
I don't know. I don't think it's awful. Maybe a little not safe for work if you're watching at work, but
What do you think?
That's like 17% hand boob. I don't think we should show that on YouTube though.
Oh, well, we just did.
Okay.
Get the editor to censor that.
Well, it's probably too late.
Maybe
It's just
pixelate it. But so yeah, you can kind of see that's not quite a hand boob.
No.
I was definitely not agreeing with this, but now I'm not sure because that is certainly not a hand boob. So yeah, she is. It's like I'm just showing myself love because feminine power. But at the same time, do we want to make different rules for different people? Isn't giving her a different set of rules because she's fat?
Yeah, I don't think that's okay.
That's like the whole racism thing.
Yeah.
Like if you're trying to fix it in the other direction, you're still being discriminatory.
There are definitely pictures on Instagram that are way more provocative than that one.
Oh, absolutely. Like the pictures of the girls where they're just wearing a thong and have their butt right in the camera. Overall, I'd say this is more artistic than lewd compared to some of the other pictures I've seen.
But we have to have another Supreme Court for Instagram to decide.
Maybe what we need to do is have the Facebook committee decide non-Facebook content and have, but I was going to say Instagram, but Instagram and Facebook, they're all the same. It's all the same committee.
And then you get back into that situation where like regionally,
yeah,
what's considered obscene and what isn't. The French would be fine with that.
Saudi Arabia would just be...
They would burn down your house.
Sorry, Saudi Arabia.
Well, Amazon is constantly moving into new markets, and they have decided to move into Sweden.
We've entered the nonsense section.
But it seems like... Well, that was nonsense. But I guess that was social media, wasn't it?
That would be social media, yeah.
It seems like they decided to save a little money with the translations by not hiring someone to do it and maybe doing it automated.
It was bad. 9 awkward translation fails on Amazon's new Swedish site. This feels like a clickbait article that we stepped right into, but these translations are just so funny that you have to be aware.
So this one was Sweet Face Dick. That's a shower curtain. Not bad.
I would like to see the hand knitted penises, please.
This is cuck. The word cuck, they put that is penis. So this was just penis. Oh yeah, hand knitted penis.
Right there. That's not what that is. That's bad machine translation.
This was die cast, but they used the word for death instead of, like die, as in machining die.
There's just so many.
Yeah.
You're going to have to click the one tab for all of them because, oh my gosh.
Kind of funny. Although, they got some press out of it, didn't they?
They did.
Who's not aware of Amazon Sweden now?
It was deliberate. It was masterminded by some ad agency. No.
I don't know what you call this number. 18 zeros. It's a lot. And now that we have our drones attacking asteroids, let's get started on this one.
NASA discovers a rare metal asteroid that's worth $10 quadrillion. I don't know.
I think it's more than quadrillion.
Quintillion?
It's a lot.
Maybe
quintillion. It might be more than that, right?
I was really excited because I was like, all right, is it like a giant neodymium asteroid? No, it's mostly nickel and iron. They think it was the core of whatever planet was in the asteroid belt or part of it. It's the size of West Virginia.
But so much nickel and iron. Now, in the grand scheme of like what size thrusters would we have to strap onto that bad boy and get it over here? It wouldn't have to be that much, right? I mean, because it's just going to keep getting faster.
The alien race that eventually wipes us out is probably just going to give it the slightest tink so that it, just because that would kill Earth. Like that would be your kill vehicle for Earth.
It depends on how fast it's moving, but
it could be moving very slow and it would be a kill vehicle for Earth because it's metal the size of West Virginia. Earth would die.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Imagine, actually that would probably be horrific if you were a miner on the West Virginia asteroid.
Sir, we just want clean water. You'll be thankful if you get any water at all.
Your quota's low. Turning your oxygen down. Lord Musk has commanded it. We love animal stories, and it's this is a sad one, but it's nice to see the respect given where it is very much deserved.
Cathedral hosts memorial service after enormously popular resident stray cat dies. So this is a cathedral that where was this? London somewhere?
Yeah.
They had a stray cat. It died.
Doorkins Magnificat.
Oh,
what an amazing cat name.
So they point out that Doorkins was well known around the cathedral. He would often walk around on the stage while they were doing the mass, and sometimes he would just be relaxing in the pews when people came for the service. And hilariously, he would sleep in the manger when they did the nativity scene. He has died.
Aged 50.
You're gonna say something, Krista?
what are you gonna do when your cats die? How are you gonna lay them to rest?
Yeah, I've got a tree out in my yard. I'll probably just dig a hole and put them out there.
Bury them under it.
Yeah.
I'll have to bury Mom's cat at my house.
Yeah. There's plenty of room for cat burying on my property. Maybe
Someone just isolate that sound clip.
Maybe I could get them cremated and have like made into something.
Ready to do a cat toy for the next few cats.
I don't know if I'm doing this. I don't know if I'm going around this rodeo again.
You get adult cats next time instead of kittens.
But that just shortens the amount of time you have with them.
Yeah, but then you don't have like the annoying baby phase. Like, I don't know that I'll get another puppy now that I've had Rue. Because Rue as a puppy was a handful.
But they are so adorable as kittens.
They are cute.
And we talked about Cyberpunk last episode. It is very depressing. I think I'm worried though that this is going to be another No Man's Sky.
Yeah.
Because it really has to live up to a lot.
Yeah.
The hype is such a bad idea in most cases.
I feel like they could have just written new content with the GTA 5 engine and people would have been happy.
Yeah, I don't think so. Plus, that's the wrong company.
Yeah.
Anyway, another drawback to the hype train being so out of control, it's moving at light speed at this point, is that when you disappoint people, they react really negatively.
CD Projekt Red developers are getting death threats after Cyberpunk 2077 delay. This is, of course, in the nonsense section because who is that invested in a game? Come on. There's so many other more interesting things to worry about than the next, AAA blockbuster.
I know where you live, bro. Release the game or you're finished. But wow, you are.
Yeah.
Right.
Where it should have been the possessive.
That's the death penalty right there.
Release Cyberpunk or you and your family will be persecuted. Well, at least he didn't say killed. He just said persecuted. And I will burn you alive if you don't release the game. I don't believe it.
I don't get it. I don't understand. Also, why would you direct it at the developers and not, the marketing company? That doesn't make any sense on any
I think it's because the developers are, kind of interfacing with the community on Twitter. And that,
Wonder if your second thoughts about that now.
Have you guys watched the Borat movie yet? It's on Amazon now.
No, I've been meaning to, but I haven't.
Yeah, I want to check it out, but I have not. Kazakhstan, if you remember the first Borat movie, Kazakhstan was a little upset about it because it doesn't portray them in the best light. But now they seem to have learned how to properly react to it. I think this is brilliant.
Very nice. Kazakhstan adopts Borat's catchphrase in new tourism campaign. So there's 4 ads, 14 seconds each, that leverage the very nice thing. And they say that, it's very nice, and it's not as anti-Semitic or misogynistic as portrayed by Sacha Baron Cohen. Which seems legit.
He does get away with a lot. Himself being Jewish is how he gets away with that. But it's funny. I laugh at it. Now, this was not the Kazakhstan people that came up with this. It was some foreign kids who had an idea, and they contacted their Bureau of Tourism, and the same day got approval. They're like, yes, that's brilliant. Do it. I bet that you could. I don't know what kind of attractions they have, but I bet the dollar will stretch a long way.
For somebody like Krista who enjoys the outside, there's a ton of stuff you can do, and it's super cheap.
Yeah, it looks like there's lots of mountaineering and hiking kind of stuff, which would be great.
What a great story that would be if you do decide to have kids. It's we moved to another country because things were so messed up back home, and then it's when they get of age, you come back, and it's okay, this is...
But then it's somehow worse. I still can't get insurance.
They would be the weird kids when you brought them back.
Yeah.
I guess that's not the worst thing, but...
I think, let's be honest, my husband too, those kids are probably going to be a little bit weird.
No, Krista, I've told you this 100 times. It's the opposite. So those kids are going to be sports stars.
Hyper-normie.
You're going to spend your entire time going to every weekend's going to be going to all these different sporting events and, training camps. Or if it's a girl, she'll be a cheerleader or a beauty contest girl or something like that. It'll be the opposite, and you'll hate it. You'll hate every minute of it.
Maybe.
You'll be there on your Stadia as you go to watching whatever game it is because you don't care.
I'm playing Overwatch 5. Soccer game.
Well, if you are a public figure, you have to really keep in mind what kind of photo ops you pose for. And this one, I feel like, should have been obvious.
I don't know. It's 2020. City attorney. Photo of San Antonio Fire Department chief eating sushi off nude woman is a serious issue and under review. Is it really, though? Is it a serious issue?
I think we can get away with this. It's a little not safe for work, but she's not showing anything. So,
just...
She looks so uncomfortable.
There was an industry dinner in Taiwan the first time that I went there, and it was invite only, but it was next to a thing that I was going to, and I went in there by mistake, and I was like, oh, this is a little weird. This is kind of an eyes wide shut party kind of thing, and they were like, oh, no, you're not supposed to be in here. And I was like, oh, okay, and then I figured out where I was supposed to be, but that was that's a thing. But this is 2020. Is this really... there's nothing illegal happening there. It's not...
Would you feel comfortable, though, if it was a naked dude you're eating sushi off of?
Yeah, if that's what that guy wanted to do in his own time, he said it was somebody's 50th birthday party and it was there.
So
it's okay. Now, I'm not comfortable eating off of anybody.
Yeah, no, it's not something that I would do, and it's something that I would definitely comment on. But in terms of like, does it rise to the level of having to waste the taxpayers, money, having the city attorney investigate it? No, that's dumb.
Now here is the burning question, and the article doesn't answer it. Maybe someone in the audience has experience with this. What is that girl making an hour?
Probably a lot.
Almost nothing.
Because
You think so, Krista?
Yeah, well, tons of pretty girls who have no money, so there's no reason to pay them well.
The only reason I know is because I mentioned it in Taiwan, and they were like, "Oh no, those people make like $80 an hour." I was like, "Wow, okay."
Maybe that's true in Taiwan, but I'd be willing to bet it's not nearly as good here. It's true of most jobs.
Could it be one of those situations? Remember when they got rid of the booth girls and the race car girls?
Yeah.
And the girls were like, "We really enjoyed that money."
If it was like the Hooters girls, I would be much more reluctant to eat the sushi as opposed to the girls that were like much more expensive.
So it's just a matter of cost. It's not.
I think there's something that's implied with the costs part of the equation there, but maybe not. Maybe that's not really true.
I don't think you're talking about like prostitution. I don't think so. Not in this case.
I guess maybe I don't know. I don't understand the appeal. Like
It is.
all I'm thinking is like hair, dirt, germs.
Yeah. Well, they mentioned that this is a cultural thing, obviously, in Japan, but it has fallen out of favor because of the hygiene and
It's
women
somewhat-
issues.
somewhat misogynistic. Yeah. We're investigating this man for poor taste.
Although, are Japanese women not known for having very little body hair? Maybe they're specifically designed for this kind of thing.
Well,
by
I'm
nature.
thinking too, though, like, can you work at your job doing this if you're menstruating?
Wow.
That's
brings
a whole
up,
nother
brings up,
thing.
yeah. Again, menstruating or not, the human body is not to be used as a dish.
No.
We are disgusting creatures.
Yeah.
Whatever. You know what?
Is there a tampon string under that plate of sushi? We don't know.
Wow.
We'll never know.
It's like I shouldn't even say that. I'm thinking, I won't actually flesh it all the way out, but Lady and the Tramp.
Seen that.
And again, none of this rises to the level of something. It's like, it's done in port. Like the city attorney should have been like, the taste here is questionable, but there's nothing that's illegal.
He's a fire chief. Like he doesn't have. Can he put out fires? That's the only thing I care about.
That man can eat sushi and put out fires.
But I guess the world we live in, that's not the case. Now, Krista does bring up an interesting point. It would not bother me particularly if he was eating off of a man, but I'm sure there's a lot of the American population.
But again, it's just like, what does this? Who cares? It's 2020.
Again, if he puts out the fire, I don't care if he just jumps out of the building and starts making out with a guy. Put out the fires.
With this birthday party, was this taxpayer funded? Like
no. They pointed out it was somebody else. He didn't pay for this. It was somebody else was having a retirement party that he went to.
Yeah. And that person was probably just like, I want the works. And the account planner was like, I know just the thing. And everybody was like, this is kind of weird.
Maybe points out that they're paying their firemen a little too high of a pension if you can afford live sushi girl.
That's what the attorney's investigating. It's not that it's actually wrong. He's just pissed off that they spent that much money in a frivolous way.
Well, Krista, if that makes you a little bit angry, how about a little bit of girl power? Because one of our female astronauts accomplished something amazing on the space station.
Astronauts use toothbrush to fix space station.
This article's worthless because it doesn't say exactly what they did.
I wanted pictures, yeah. Apparently they modified a toothbrush in some way to make it... So they had actually failed the previous spacewalk. They were trying to install some parts. They failed because they couldn't get a bolt out or something, and then somehow they used a toothbrush to accomplish it.
I wonder if it was an electric toothbrush and they used it to vibrate it loose. Because I've got a DeWalt reciprocating saw that just vibrates and it does so much.
Are we really burning? I guess energy isn't a big problem on the space station because they got the solar, right?
Yeah.
You think they have electric toothbrushes up there?
I don't know. It's the only thing I can think
What
of.
if like you lost control of it and it just
It's just gone
marauded
into
through the
space.
space station?
No, the first time I used one of those DeWalt like reciprocating things with the vibration, it did so much work so quickly that I started to believe in Doctor Who's sonic screwdriver. It's like, this could actually work.
Oh yeah, yeah, like the impact drivers.
Yeah.
They're impressive. Yeah. So this was Sunita Williams and Akihiko Hoshida, and yeah, pretty cool. Also, one of the other space station participants was quoted as saying, "Where the hell's my toothbrush?"
Listen, we're gonna have to share a toothbrush for the next couple of
Surely they
days.
carry extra.
Yeah, I made that part up. So yeah, good job. A 6-hour spacewalk. You're peeing in your suit.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's built specifically to handle that. Even Elon Musk's cheap, Big Lots knockoff spacesuits are built for that.
Can you imagine, like, you come in after your 6-hour spacewalk and you're removing your space diaper and like wiping yourself down to get the urine off, and you're like, I'm one of the most educated people in the country.
And yet you still have to deal with feces.
This is the life I chose.
It's the great equalizer, bodily functions.
I think, now this is apparently a problem in a lot of places, but I think the answer here is obvious because I know 2 little cats who would love a big can of crayfish every day.
Escaped cloned mutant female crayfish take over Belgian cemetery. There's nothing more useful here. It's just words.
Well, we do need to point out, here they are. These are, I can't remember what the word they use is, but they breed with themselves. They're automatic breeders, and they only breed females. So
They reproduce asexually.
well, there's another word for it that they had here. But when you get one of these in a place, they're also apparently pretty good at like out competing the other ones for food. They're like an invasive type. And they were never supposed to exist. These are man-made creation. So we made this horrible thing that reproduces nonstop, and it escaped into the wild, and now we have a never-ending supply of them in a graveyard.
In the next year. It's
Yeah.
a fine source.
That's the food supply for 2021.
Yeah, they pointed out that in one place, I can't remember where it was, they are a problem, but they are so Madagascar. They're considered a very cheap form of protein, so they kind of like, they wanted them. But they do kill out all the other crayfish because they're so powerful. Again, my cats would love them.
Yeah.
This is one of the darker stories we've done, and sometimes I question, it's like, is that too depressing to put in the news? But I think it's important that we
I would
point
say
out.
yes, but
I think it's important that we know just how awful this world can be.
I couldn't even use the lack of technology as an excuse to cut it.
It's awful.
UK man jailed for having sex with chickens in front of wife allowed to keep pets. So his wife filmed it, so she was in on it. And a lot of bad things happened to that guy, and the judge was like, I'm going to take your chickens. And under the law, he can't. He was not allowed to take his chickens.
There's the face of a monster.
It's very bad.
So he will have to do some time, but he gets to keep the chickens.
This is
Why?
one time where I can get behind the NSA surveillance apparatus. It was like, we caught this guy because it was uploaded to the internet.
Why, Krista? Because animal cruelty was not something they charged him with.
that's bizarre.
And you can't...
Oh, you continue.
You can't take away someone's... So it's actually much darker than it is on the face value, because when they searched the home, they found child pornography as well.
Yeah.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Here in Kentucky, we actually only like a year or two ago passed laws that like you couldn't sexually abuse animals. So that's a thing.
It is illegal where he is, so... How do you not know that that's wrong anyway? I mean, I can't imagine that. And he has a wife! So it's not about...
Who was in on it?
It's not about the sexual release. It's something else.
Who was in on it?
This one, Krista, I imagine you have some strong feelings about this one. It is... so let's say, it's a tale as old as time. boy meets girl. They fall in love, but they can't be together because he has an existing wife and he doesn't make enough money. So what happens? Well, this bank wants to solve that terrible problem.
Anger as Iraqi bank offers second wife loans to male employees.
So,
and I'm willing to bet that they do not have any sort of maternity leave, but they have this program.
I don't even know if they let women work.
Listen, you
Why
work
not?
for a prestigious First Bank of National Iraqi. You can, you need the prestigious benefits of that. Here, take out a second wife loan.
So second wife actually doesn't cost too much over there. $8,000 for the second wife loan. Now the rule in a lot of these places is you can have as many wives as you want, but you must support them. Like they don't work, they don't do anything. They're just your wife. You have to give them a place to live. You have to like feed them enough. And so if you want to take that second one, maybe you don't have all the cash on hand. Of course you use credit. You think they'll repossess the wife?
No, that wife just gets to live in squalor.
It could get really dark as like could start organ harvesting. I'm sure you could get $8,000 for a kidney.
That is much darker. You're right. You took it to a much darker place.
Darker place. Yeah, the wife whose husband couldn't afford her in the first place, she doesn't get her freedom back.
She's the one that's punished for taking out the loan.
Yeah, probably
Yeah,
stone
she
her to death.
still stays as the second wife, but now she has children who she can't support because she's not allowed to work. But her husband also can't support her or her children. It's just a great program all the way around.
Pretty sure any interstellar travelers visiting will just go ahead and sterilize the planet.
Now, think about the fact that there's probably also third wife situations.
You're severely in debt. I need that third wife.
I'm going to get the third wife and use her kidneys to pay off the other two.
Well, if the crayfish, the mutant crayfish, don't get you, don't think that you're out of the woods. Because here is remember from before the dark times, we were worried about such trivial things as murder hornets.
First murder hornet nest in the U.S. is found in Washington State. It's actually pretty brilliant. They found some murder hornets, and they tagged them with the radio tags. They tried dental floss and glue and some other things, and they would always chew them off or break them off or whatever, but they managed to get some radio trackers all the way back to the nest, and the murder hornets that were tagged happened to be from the same nest. So they found the nest, and they got rid of the nest, and that worked really well.
It's in a tree. So yeah, they destroyed it, or they were scheduled to destroy it.
They had special suits that were made out of foam.
Yeah, because I guess they can sting right through normal like beekeeping suits.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, if things weren't bad enough, the murder hornets are back, and now they live here.
I'm just happy that we have radio tags small enough to fit on murder hornets. Or, conversely, murder hornets are so large they have no problem carrying around a radio transmitter.
They are some monsters.
This is just the writers trying to, bring back some nostalgia before the finale. They're like, do you remember
Yeah,
that
I
scene
see,
where we
yeah.
murder hornets?
Unlike Game of Thrones, they're trying to pick up all those loose threads that they left throughout the...
I don't understand. Why does this dragon glass sword matter? I don't understand.
Remember that was the worst thing that happened in 2019 until, everything else.
Well, if you're in Australia and you love the hentai, times are going to start to get really rough for you. Because the government... It's a weird thing to focus on, don't you think?
I think that this can only mean the thing that it means here in the U.S. when there's something like this. When you have a politician that's hyper-focused on something like this, it means they have a fetish. So somebody in Australia really has an addiction to this stuff.
And they just can't stop themselves.
Yeah.
And their wife is like, listen, one more time and I'm going public. And he's like, oh, God, so how can I stop myself? It's like when you're like the werewolf who chains himself during the full moon.
Yeah.
That makes perfect sense.
Australia bans import of hentai and other adult anime products from Japan. What an amazing thumbnail.
Yeah.
Some strange images in this article.
Yeah, so Australia, it's come to an end.
That girl is going to have some back problems. So there's one, what was the name of this? Oh, that's lovely. There's one program in particular No game, no life. They keep referring back to. What could that be that's so bad?
I'm sure that people are going to email you exactly what that is.
You're gonna tell us.
So, J-List is a company that sells Japanese products internationally, and I guess they have an adult section. And they're the ones who this was not really announced, but all of a sudden J-List was like, every package we send to Australia is coming back. They won't take them. So it turns out anything slightly risque that has to do with Japan, I mean, that seems racist, right? Like, as a government policy? Anyways, getting kicked back. And so, yeah, they confirmed.
It's Japanese mind control that I'm having some sort of biological reaction to this obvious, trash. It's their fault.
It's probably a really religious guy. He's like, I can't be this turned on by tentacle demons.
That's exactly what it is.
Someone must do something.
Yeah, that's predicting the 2021 scandal, chat. You heard it here first. What, Krista?
This channel's so first it was the sushi eating story, and now it's this one, and we've gone.
Oh, we're off the rails.
Japanese culture just wreaking havoc among the globe.
Australia's killing off any chance of waifus. No.
Yeah, if you're a weeb in Australia, it's gonna be
time.
rough. Although, how many people do you think consume hentai on DVD? Wouldn't you stream that?
Yeah. Well, that also makes it illegal that way as well. So it may be that, if you've got an Australian credit card, you can't get that.
Got to get that VPN.
I noticed the law also lumped it in with like child porn, and it's like, I mean, that's a stretch.
Hentai gets weird, but it's a far cry from child crimes. And finally, a nice little bit of fun. And it's fun that a homeowners association tried to spoil, but I think their own bureaucracy kind of got in their way, so it doesn't matter. So it's a happy tale after all.
Who's reading it? Is it me? Pole dancing skeletons deemed inappropriate for Texas neighborhood. This is hilarious.
It's a little bit of a moot point, though, because the homeowners association says she had until the middle of November to take them down. But who said that the pole dancing skeletons are naked?
I thought they had more pictures. I guess it's just
they have a video of it.
It's
like most kids aren't going to recognize what that is. They're just going to see the skeletons hanging out and not register it.
They're going to ask questions, though.
Skeletons are dancing.
Yeah, so they're
It's great.
It's fine. This is fine.
That was doing like a little cheer dance.
This is fine.
Yeah, so they've banned it, but like you say, doesn't matter because she only wanted it till the end of October. So all the little trick-or-treaters who actually won't be trick-or-treating, right? Have they officially canceled it here?
Yes, I think so.
I think you can do a thing where like you come and pick up candy somewhere. Like that's a thing as a substitute. Like
It's not even the thing anymore.
Yeah.
Just let us shovel sugar into your children's mouths.
I think you underestimate how poor some children are, and it's like I get all this candy, and it's like now we're not going to do that, and so like the churches and stuff are like just show up, and the trunks of these cars have candy, and you just walk around to all the trunks of the cars and get candy.
But aren't you touching the piles of candy? That's bad.
I'm pretty sure that you're not supposed to be doing that. That's something they do every year is trunk or treat.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I don't know if they're supposed to do it this year or not.
Maybe they've just pre-trunked it, and you just have the bag. Like one person has taken I don't know.
We're red zone right now.
Yeah, it's bad.
Oh yeah. Well, not us, right? That's the neighboring.
I think we're about to hit it. I don't know that we have yet, but
what does that mean?
The transmission rate is above.
But I mean, does
1.
it change how we're supposed to lock down?
Yeah, it means that you're supposed to like, non-essential anything, mask all the time.
Look,
should have been doing it anyway.
I'm just going grocery shopping at this point, so I'm fine.
Same.
Yeah, that's pretty much all I've been doing too. So
I don't mask on the street though. I mean, really, it's just walking from my car to this building. But a woman gave me a dirty look today.
Yeah, I don't. If you're outside, at least from everything, like free flowing air is better. Anyway,
I've gone to the hardware store a total of like maybe 6 times in the last 2 or 3 months.
I went to Lowe's a couple times, yeah.
And the number of non-maskers makes me weep for humanity.
It does seem like the ham and eggers are more non-mask than. I saw a guy at Meijer last week, and he had no mask. It was around his neck, and he walked in, and I was behind him, And he went and he started to get a cart. But he was like, no, I don't want this cart. He went over and got one of the disinfected carts. But no
But
mask.
there's no mask. It doesn't make any sense.
People just don't think it's airborne, I guess. Speaking of holidays, so we talked about Halloween. Next is Thanksgiving. That'll be the next.
What do
big
you
test.
What do you want to talk? Oh, the fact that whether or not we go to Thanksgiving.
Thinks
Yeah.
it's not worse.
All right. Well, hopefully, we'll be back next week, and I imagine we'll have a lot to talk about.
Woo.
Krista, give us the final goodbye before November.
Final goodbye. Well, it is November from the point of view of the viewers, but
It is, yeah. Bye.
Friday's not November,
yeah, it is.
is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, almost all of next week is November because the 31st is this weekend.
Oh, right. Yeah, my dates are just scrambled right now.
It's because it's like March 230th.
Yeah.
All right. Well, in that case, just give us the election results are probably tonight. Goodbye.
I don't have enough alcohol for this. Bye.